Namo Buddhaya. Most respected Bhikkhuni Sangha, Bhikkhu Sangha, and Dhamma friends, welcome you all to our Vinaya class, Application of Vinaya in Contemporary World. Thank you very much indeed for joining our Vinaya class this evening. First of all, let me tell you about background to the class. Last year, Mahā Bodhi Society of India, UTBSI, in collaboration with United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International, organized a Dhamma program throughout the year for the benefit of all. With great respect for the Buddha's teaching, this year, MBSI and UTBSI has organized a series of Vinaya class throughout the year on the 9th of every month, from May to October. The Vinaya the Buddha gave to us was more than 2,500 years ago, but with different contexts and circumstances. Nowadays, how could we apply the Vinaya? Our class ran according to the 7 sections in Patimokkha. The first class started on May the 9th, and this evening will be the last one, dealing with Patisesaniya, Adhikarana Samatha, and Sekhiya. Now, let me introduce to you our speaker. Venerable Dhammananda Mahā Therī, Abbess of Songdhammakalyanī Monastery, Thailand. Previously known as Associate Professor Dr. Chasuman Kabila Singh, she holds a BA honors in philosophy from Viswabharati University at Santiniketan, India, an MA in religions from McMaster University, Canada, and a PhD in Buddhist study from Makkad University, India. She taught Buddhism and Eastern philosophy at Thammasat University, Bangkok for 27 years. With strong academic background, she is an author and the translation more than 100 books. The 2 books regarding Vinaya drawn from her dissertation are a comparative study of Bhikkhuni Patimokkha and the Bhikkhuni Patimokkha of the 6th school. She received higher ordination from Sri Lanka in 2003 and became the first fully ordained Theravada Bhikkhuni in Thailand. She gave ordination to more than 1,000 seminary as of April 6, 2003. Now, may I request Most Venerable to share your vast knowledge with us?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Venerable Paripurna. And I would like to, first of all, pay respect to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. I also would like to take this opportunity to pay respect to Most Venerable Mahā, the very first Bhikkhuni in Buddhist history. Ratanyunang Bhikkhuninang Kotami Chinnamatucha Kapita Akatha Namhi Satha Sotingaro Tunu. I would like to pay respect to Most Venerable Ananda, who preserved the teaching and handed down through his memory very long message. The teaching of the Buddha that we have preserved in the Tripitaka all came from Venerable Ananda. It's amazing. It's amazing, when you really read the Tripitaka and see the huge literature. It is amazing. I cannot find any other word to explain this. And that is all through the memory of Venerable Ananda. The most Venerable Upali is the one who actually preserved the Vinaya and down to our time, from his time to our time. The Patimokkha that we are talking about is a gist of rules, of don'ts. The don'ts, do not do this, do not do that. The Vinaya is much more larger literature which covers both the do's and the don'ts. So we focus in these past few months, we have been focusing only the Patimokkha, or in Sanskrit, Pratimoksha. We understand that this is the gist of what we have to recite twice a month. And when we recite the Patimokkha together among the Bhikkhunis, in the beginning the Bhikkhunis also did not know how to recite the Patimokkha, and we had to learn from the Bhikkhus. But once when we have learned from the Bhikkhus, then the Buddha said that now the Bhikkhus recite their own Patimokkha and the Bhikkhunis recite their own Patimokkha separate. But as we practice, before we start to recite the Patimokkha among the Bhikkhuni Sangha, we first have to get Ovada. We have first get instruction. We have to get instruction from a senior monk. And this senior monk, he must be at least 20 years, 20 vasas. He has a standing as a bhikkhu, not less than 20 vasas. So this has been practiced. I'm very happy to report that in our temple, since we have started, those who are just coming in, could you please mute yourself? Otherwise your voice will be disturbing us. Where was I? Venerable Dhamma Paripurna.
We need to receive instruction from the senior bhikkhu, and then our temple receives that.
Thank you. In spite of the fact that when I was fully ordained, I was first ordained as Samaneri in the year 2001. And then again, I returned to Sri Lanka to receive full ordination in 2003 to become the first Theravada Bhikkhuni in my country. And for the first two vasas, I need to stay with my teacher. I need to be trained with my teacher. And very, very happy that in those days, the very first Bhikkhunis in each country, we got together and we were trained under the same teacher. So Venerable Santini, the first one in Indonesia, Venerable Dhammanandi from Vietnam, like that, we were together at least for the first two vasas. So that was the training that we have been receiving, and I have to say, even though many of us have already been Mahā Therī, which means that we have covered more than 20 years as Bhikkhunis, we are still learning. We are still checking whether what we have been practicing is actually according to the Vinaya, whether it is according to the spirit that the Buddha laid down. Very important. And I need to pay respect to Venerable Sivali Venerable Sivali Thera, who is also General Secretary of Mahā Buddhist Society of India, and he is the one who is actually behind all of us and help us to form this UTBSI. My respect goes to Venerable Tathaloka, our most senior Bhikkhuni in United States, who is also one of our coordinators. Venerable Santini, the very first Bhikkhuni in Indonesia, and who is actually providing the space for us to meet for this class. Venerable Liu Phop, Venerable Dr. Liu Phop from Vietnam. All of them are Mahā Therī, so I don't need to repeat Mahā Therī. Venerable Bodhicitta. Venerable Bodhicitta is not yet Mahā Therī, but she will become. She will become soon. She is Sri Lankan, but she is representing both Sri Lanka as well as Australia. And last but not the least, Venerable Sumangala. I'm sorry, I always mispronounce the male and female. Venerable Sumangala from Malaysia. Very interesting thing about Venerable Sumangala, she should have been ordained as a Bhikkhuni long time ago, but she was waiting for the lay community to be also ready with her. Very important issue that many of us might not have really understood the meaning of it. So I really appreciate this. This is what I learned from Venerable Sumangala, to go step by step and be ready only when Buddhist society is ready to go along with you. Otherwise, you will be just a loner, and it is difficult to be a loner, because in Buddhism, we need support. We truly need support. And now, I would like to thank Venerable Dhamma Paripurna for preparing, really helping me to prepare this presentation. Can I have the first page and see where are we going?
Yes. Yes.
The next one.
Yes.
Yes. This is just want to show you briefly the Bhikkhuni Patimokkha, as we have been discussing. We have already covered Parajika, most important, Sanghadisesa, Nisakhiya Pajitiya, and Pajitiya. We have already done that, so it is in black color. And now today we are going to cover three groups together. The first one is Paditesaniya. Paditesaniya, interestingly, is not shared between the Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis. The set of the Bhikkhus are 4, and they are completely different from the set of the Bhikkhunis. The set of Paditesaniya for Bhikkhunis are 8, but the set of Paditesaniya for the Bhikkhus are 4. Let me just briefly, you can please go to the next page. I can just briefly talk about this. Number one, that a bhikkhu should not receive food directly from the hand of the bhikkhunis. This is in brief. The second one, you can move to the next one. The second one is the bhikkhunis, the bhikkhunis should not come in and be bossy around, telling, offer this curry to this monk, offer this curry to this monk. The monks must stop her not to do this. So, why so? It may be like this. Sometimes in the early days, the bhikkhus were ordained. The bhikkhus were the husbands. The husbands were ordained, and the wives were also ordained as bhikkhunis. And sometimes the wives would come in to kind of bossing around. I use a very common word, bossing around, for people to, give curry to this monk, give curry to that monk, like that, And so it is not proper. It is not proper to do that. And the monks themselves, if they should see that this nun is behaving like this, the monks should stop her. The third one, we go to the third one. Yes, the third one is a monk. If you have not received invitation, but should go in the house of the lay people and start eating, which means that as a bhikkhu, you have to be invited so that people are ready. People will prepare for your meal. You just don't go uninvited, so to say. The fourth one is for those who are in the jungle and walk into the household without invitation. Again, without invitation. This is also not proper, and it is against Patitesaniya. This is the 4 rules of Patitesaniya for the monks. The next one we shall see that for the Bhikkhunis we have very different. Yes, so the 8th Patitesaniya rule for the Bhikkhunis, the monks also have this, but they are counted as one, and it is in their Pachitiya. So this will also explain for the number of rules that seems to be bloating in the Bhikkhuni side. Like this one, it is counted as 8 rules, whereas for the Bhikkhus, it is tied in together and counted as 1 rule. Yes, so we don't. A Bhikkhuni who is not ill should not ask for this, ghee, oil, honey, sugar, fish, meat, milk, curd. These are supposed to be special kind of food, so to say, not for commoners. You can ask for this only if you are ill. Then it is not against the rule. Yes. ต่อไปได้เลยค่ะ Now, so we have understood the Patitesaniya, that the grouping of the kind of food that we can ask or we should not ask. Now in Atikarana Samatha, you can find this both for the Bhikkhus as well as for the Bhikkhunis. In fact, reading Atikarana Samatha, you will understand that when we have any dispute, we can clarify the disputes by applying this set of Atikarana Samatha. If we are good monks, if we are good Bhikkhunis, and if we follow this, it's all there, the kind of the law, what is prohibited, what is not prohibited, and how it should be dealt with, very clearly explained in this one. When the transgression actually happen, or when there is, they call it apatatikarana, case to be considered, it has to be resolved by the procedure through Sangha. And once when it has been resolved, then all the monks must agree. All the monks and bhikkhus and bhikkhunis must agree that this, if they have been practicing differently, from now on, once when we have decided together, you have to change. You have to go according to what we have agreed upon. So this is very important. And each bhikkhu, each bhikkhus, or each bhikkhunis, each of one of us, we have responsibility to respect, to accomplish the duty of Sangha as it has been agreed upon. So the first one is vivada tikarana, is vivada and atikarana together, so it becomes vivada tikarana. The legal questions regarding dharma and vinaya, which need clear decision as to the right or wrong, so that it is clear from now on this is considered wrong, we are not going to do it. The second one is anuvada tikarana, which when a monk, because this one was established for the monks, and the Bhikkhunis also follow the same. So when it is said that when a Bhikkhu, we understand that it also implies as Bhikkhuni. When a Bhikkhu being charged with an offense, he must be clarified as to the truth or untruth of such offense. The third one is apatatikarana, manner against an offense must be set right. From now on, we will understand whether this is right or wrong, and how we should follow. The fourth one is kityatikarana, duties which must be performed by bhikkhus. For example, the completion of ordination. Next, please. So here it says, these 7 rules, Venerable, for the deciding of legal questions come up for recitation, for the deciding, for the settlement of legal question arising from time to time, a verdict in the presence of may be given, a verdict of innocence may be given, a verdict of past insanity must be given. It may be carried out on his acknowledgement. There is the decision of the majority, or the decision of specific depravity, the covering up as with grass. So each one we will understand very clearly. These 7 rules, as explained in the Thai commentaries, we will understand better. The first one is called Sammukha Vinaya, the rule to be performed in presence of 4 factors. That is the order, person or persons involved, objects, for example, the involved case, and last one, Dharma. This rule must be applied to all cases of legal questions. I give you an example. You know, when they were discussing whether they should accept Bhikkhunis or not, I was hoping that they would call me, so that Sammukha is face to face, you know, coming together. So if I was someone that they were discussing whether they should allow or not allow Bhikkhunis, I was hoping that the Sangha would call me so that I can explain to them that my ordination was correctly done according to the Vinaya. But I was never called for. Thus, Sammukha Vinaya was not applied in my case, in the case of ordination of the Bhikkhunis in Thailand. Yes. The second one, Sati Vinaya, for a Bhikkhu or the Sangha to be able to decide or settle any legal questions, he must be mindful. And it is considered that if a person who is in the case of discussion whether he is right or wrong, if he is Arahat, then we considered that Arahat has sati all the time, so we should not put any case against him. Very important to look at it. The third one is Amolha Vinaya, a regulation for the announcement of a particular monk who has overcome his insanity. Now, while he was insane, if he has done anything wrong, that cannot be accounted for. Therefore, when he is now okay, we should pronounce that he is a proper monk, and whatever he had done during the time that he was not well, that is given up, so to say, given up. Yes, the next one, please. Yeah, Patinya Karana. Patinya Karana is a legal question, and it is settled according to the confession of the accused monk. It is said that to carry out this form of settling legal questions without the accused monk's acknowledgement of his offense is not a legal valid act and would also give rise to a dukkata offense. This will go together with the next one. Sometimes, when that person who has been accused of, he refused to accept that he had done anything wrong. In that case, how to do? The next one will explain. Ye Puyasika of great number. The legal question is settled according to the majority of votes. You see how this in the Sangha, they have actually set up a kind of example for us to follow. If such case happen, let's see the majority. So that is, how we vote for the country, for the nation, how we vote, and people who win the vote, the majority win the vote, so it goes according to them. So this is used in case of dividing opinions, and may be used only in case of vivadatikarana, case of dispute on Dharma or Vinaya. Next one. Tasapapiyasika, the sixth one, the obstinately wrong. This method of settling a legal question is to be employed when a monk, having denied of any offense, acknowledged it, denied it, shelved the question by asking others, told a conscious lie. There are two ways of punishment, namely, A. Increase the degree of punishment, or B. Give punishment according to the offense committed, even when the accused person denied, but with convincing evidences. So in cases like this, you need to have members of Sangha involved to see. We respect the seniority, we respect also majority, we also hear from those who actually witness the actual things that become the case to consider. ต่อไปค่ะ Tinnavattaraka, covering up with grass. In Western culture, you would say sweep under the carpet. It is a compromising situation. It may be applied to legal questions such as apatatikarana and anuvatatikarana. Sometimes, if you keep digging too much, it will bring more, the breakage in the Sangha. So better, okay, let's finish it now. From now on, we will do this. So we will not go digging into details. So we covering up with grass, or we sweep under the carpet. This particular case is agreed upon like this. So sometimes we have to do this, and when we look at these seven atikarana that has been described, has been given to us as Sangha, I think it is sufficient. Really, it is sufficient for us Sangha members who are conscious to see that Buddhism will prosper into the future. We should be able to agree, and we should be able to keep up with this Vinaya legalistic attitude. But in reality, we find that there are many more problems. That's why in Thailand, this happened at the beginning of the present dynasty. The king had to step in, and when the quality of monks was going down, partly because of the warfare that we were having, fighting with the Burmese, and the quality of monks was really going down to the point that the king had to step in to see that the monks behave, and that Buddhism can continue only when the monks themselves are pure to keep on the Vinaya. So that's why we have yet the government control, so to say. The government control, it comes in a form of Sangha Act. So in Thailand, you have double. You have both the Vinaya as prescribed by the Buddha, and also Sangha Act to make sure the quality of monks keep intact with Dharma Vinaya. So those of you who are interested in the history of Buddhism in Thailand will understand that there is complication of these two levels of governing the Sangha. Yes. Is that the end of it, Venerable? Oh, Sekhiya. Yes, the big fat chunk of material that we do this evening is Sekhiya. We discuss about Sekhiya. Sekhiya, it actually means that which we should study. It is not the rule per se, it is not something that you transgress and then it would be something wrong. It is something to be studied. But I see importance of it, behind this Sekhiya practice. There are 75 rules in this Sekhiya. And in Thailand, the Bhikkhus keep the Sekhiya exactly the same. The Bhikkhunis also have 75 Sekhiyas. And those who just take the white robe, they are not ordained. They take the white robe, they are called Machi. They also take the 75 Sekhiyas because they believe that it is monastic etiquette. You learn good manner. Sekhiya is about good manner. Why do we have to have good manner? Because the Buddha himself came from a royal family. And when he started this family is called Sakya family. And when the Sakya family comes, it is they follow according to the etiquette of the good manner of the Sakya. So therefore, when we move around, people look at us, they do not see your mind, but they see how you walk, how you sit, how you carry the bowl, how you eat. So many rules in this Sekhiya talking about eating. The manner that you eat, that should be proper. It should be proper. So this, even though it is not serious, it is not serious, not like Parajika, Once when you have transgressed against Parajika, you are completely cut off, you are no more monk, you are no more Bhikkhunis. But Sekhiya is just minor details of mannerism, good mannerism. But I think it's very important, it's equally important, because that's what people see. That's what people see of you as monastics. And if we are good manner, then they have faith in us. They have faith in us, and they would like to support. So remember, Asachi was a Sariputra's teacher. Asachi was just enlightened only a few days ago, And then Sariputra, at that time, he was a young man looking for a teacher. And then he just watched this Venerable Asachi, Venerable Asachi just received alms, and then he walked the way he walked, you could tell that he had been practicing inside. And then the way he sat down, the way he prepared the seat, the way he ate very quietly, the way he finished his meal, the way, all these details was observed by Sariputra. And Sariputra was just wondering, this monk, who is the teacher of this monk that I would also like to follow? So as soon as Venerable Asachi finished with his meal, done with his eating, covered up his bowl already, then Sariputra went close to him and asked, who is your teacher? What did your teacher teach you so that you can behave so beautifully in this manner? So this is all about Sekhiya. If Venerable Asachi did not have good manner, Venerable Sariputra would not have been drawn to him. So you see that how important it is that we monastics need to keep the etiquette appropriate of our monastic lifestyle. The way we walk, the way we swing our arms, how far we should swing our arms, the way we greet each other, the way we sit down. Do we make noise with our chairs? We just drag the chairs loudly when we go in a public space. All this counts for the growth of Buddhism. So I think Sekhiya is very important, even though it is minor rules regarding etiquette of good mannerism. Yes. Where are we now? We can move on to see that, yes, part one, Venerable Dhammaparipurna had been kind enough to do the grouping for us. Part one deals with the manner of wearing the robe. How do we wear the lower robe and how do we wear the upper robe? If our robe is hanging down, dragging down the floor, people look at you and people say, they just laugh at you. This kind of monastic is just not careful about wearing his robe. So that's why the good manner shows on you how you wear the robe. The second group is manner of entering a house. And this has gone into details of 24 rules. As you enter the house, as you sit in the house, you go in a house, your eyes don't go all over. You sit and you don't swing your hand, all details of mannerism, particularly when you enter the household of the householder, because you imagine that you are being invited. As you are being invited to maybe to have meals in the house of the lay people, how do you behave? In Sri Lanka, I really like it very much. As you enter the house, you will see that you go to the sofa that is covered with white cloth. That is the place where they have prepared for monastic to sit. So each country you enter, you have to study the culture of the country. Now, if you come to Thailand and the seat is covered with white cloth, you don't sit on that. That is supposed to be for devas. So in each country, we practice differently. So yes, there are at least 24 rules regarding the manner of how we monastic enter into a household. The third group is the manner of accepting and taking food. As I said, they invite us to eat in their place, and all eyes are at you. So particularly in Thailand, when they make offering to the monks, and they believe that this is a great punya, so all of them will be seated in front of you, and the monks will be eating literally in front of you. So therefore, this manner of eating counts a lot, counts a lot. Very important that you eat properly. Sometimes, the monks, young monks, they get naughty, so they kind of roll rice or whatever they eat into a ball and then throw up and catch with their mouth. That is playful. The monk being playful. No, don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to eat making noise, suru suru. That is like this, particularly when you eat noodle, that you make sound, or if you eat without closing your mouth. That's how our parents have been always reminding us when we were small. Eating like that with that kind of sound, in Pali it is called chapu chapu, to eat with open your mouth and making that sound. That is not proper. Not licking your fingers, Of course, you would say, of course, you don't lick your fingers. But now we use fork and knife. Do we beat them? Sometimes grain of rice gets stuck in the fork. How do you do that? This is not explained in the Sekhiya, because at that time they eat with fingers, they don't eat with fork and knife. But now in modern time, as we eat with fork and knife, we have to be careful. Also, we have to be careful to study the culture, to understand the culture. And now, when Buddhists get to China, the Chinese people eat with chopstick. So how are you going to do? Are you going to eat with chopstick, or are you going to eat with your fingers? Well, in the Vinaya, it's explained to you as though you were eating with your fingers. When you move to another country, you also have to learn that when you go to China, they eat with chopstick, so you eat with chopstick. Learn to use chopstick properly. You see, this cultural part is very important. The Buddha said that you follow the Vinaya, but at the same time, when you go to different country, you also respect, you also go along with the culture, with the tradition of that country. Yeah, very interesting. Now, in the manner of teaching Dharma, you have to be sure that people or a person whom you are going to teach, they are in proper mode, proper place, proper situation. So like you are not giving Dharma to someone who is walking in front of you. You are not giving Dharma to someone who is under umbrella. You are not under umbrella, but that person is under umbrella, and you're trying to teach Dharma, So these details tell us that we have to look for Kala Tesa. Kala is time, Tesa is space. Space and time need to be appropriate, that the people who are asking for Dharma, they are ready to listen. If the room is so noisy, very crowded, people are eating, you are giving Dharma, who is going to listen to you? Who is going to listen to you? When I was teaching, I used to have very difficult time when they invite you to give a talk at lunch. That is very difficult. People are busy eating, and you are supposed to be talking, making sense about something that nobody listen. So now that as a Bhikkhuni, we also realize that unless our audience is ready, it is not proper that we as Bhikkhuni or Bhikkhu should even open our mouth to deliver Dharma. So wait until the audience is ready. So that's why when we offer Dharma talk, usually the lay people would recite Brahma Jaloka Tipati Sahampati Gatan Chalian, comparing to the time when the Buddha was enlightened and Brahma came down to invite the Buddha to preach. Just like that, I now, the lay person, I now invite you, Venerable, please preach. So when they have invited monastic to give Dharma talk, only then we give Dharma talk. It means the audience is ready. Yes? So very interesting that when you read Sekhiya, at the same time you also have to apply them to the contemporary world, and how are we going to adjust the Vinaya according to the world at present moment. Yes, so that conclude the 75 Sekhiyas, which is the last part of our Patimok. But there are still more rules that is not in Patimok, particularly in Theravada. How can we explain this? Possibly Patimokkha was completed, and these rules happen according to the actual events. So it is in the Vinaya, but not included in the Patimokha. But some other schools feel free to add them in to the Patimokha. So that's why in my study of the 6 schools, there are certain schools with large number of rules in Patimokha. This will explain, because they have included those rules into Patimokha. They feel free to add it into Patimokha. Whereas in Theravada, possibly that we follow this, that we don't add anything more, we don't change anything. So even though there are more rules, it is not added into the Patimokha, but it can still be found in Vinaya. So this is just what I would like to share. เวลาไปถึงไหนแล้วพี่
7:42. We have 15 minutes for
yes.
question and answer. Thank you so very much, Most Venerable, for sharing your experience and the Patimokkha, particularly the last 3 sections. Now, if anyone has any question regarding application of Patitesiya, Adhikarana Samatha, and Sekhiya in contemporary world, please feel free to ask or put your question in the chat box. I will ask the Most Venerable for you.
So, sometimes people ask whether, have you really remembered all these 311 rules? To tell you the truth, I have not. But I know, in practice, I know that we don't do this. We don't do this. And in modern time, how are we going to do? How are we going to do this? And as we, in my mother's time, she could not form Sangha. So I see the importance of living in Sangha, living in a community, so that we can really practice well. It is not easy to shift from a lay person to a monastic. It is not easy at all, unless and until we are conscious that we have now dedicated our life for the progress of the Buddha. Now I have trusted the Buddha. As a Buddhist, I trusted the Buddha. I believed that the Buddha was enlightened. I believe that enlightenment is real for him, but it can also be real for us if we practice, if we are serious in our practice. With that, we keep practicing. And when we are in this present world, which is 2,000 years, more than 2,000 years, 2,600 years away from the Buddha's time, away from India, setting is changed. Then no matter where we are, we will be able to go forward with certainty in our heart that we are keeping Vinaya intact. And don't just simply follow by words. Take the spirit with us. I am sure that this is how we in this present world can work together, can go forward together, and not get stuck up with the Vinaya only in words. Some people suggested, I think in one of our classes, someone suggested that why don't you change the rules? If you start changing the rules, the first 100 years, we started changing the rules in order to be, to fit for us. The next 100 years, again more change. The next 100 years, again more change. What happened then? All the old set will be gone. So that's why I like the Theravada attitude, that we keep things intact. We keep the Patimokkha intact. But we need to understand the spirit, and we need to follow as close as possible to the spirit of the rules. We read in the Vipanka, the story behind it. Sometimes the Patimokkha rules is exactly, very different from the intention of the rules. So we need to study in Vipanka, need to study the stories of how these particular rules were laid down. Then we start understanding, in this case, this is what we should do. Like garlic, I think we discussed about garlic before, that the rule said that we should not eat garlic. We should not eat garlic. But when we go into detail of reading the story, we find that the owner of the garlic field, he just gave permission to the Bhikkhuni. Venerable Bhikkhuni, if you come by, you can take garlic as much as you like, meaning that maybe three, four garlics, But then the Bhikkhuni told her friend, and her friend told her friend, and her friend told her friend, like that. So all these Bhikkhunis came to pick up the garlic from this field. And when the man came back, he was so surprised. What happened? All the field of garlic were all gone by this, because I gave permission to this one Bhikkhuni, So now we understand that when we have been offered something, it is meant that small portion for us. We are not to keep repeating this offering to others when you are not the owner of the field. And also in Buddhism, if we study very closely, we are very careful not to take advantage of the lay people. Like when the people make offering, pavarana, that, oh, Venerable Dhamma Paripurna, I would like to offer 500 baht to you every month. At that time, she was so full of, full of sattha. I will offer this 500 baht to you every month. After 4 months, you will have to wait for her to pavarana again, because sometimes people lose faith, and if you should approach this person for 500 baht as she promised, now she is not in a position to offer the 500 baht anymore. Now she does not have that faith. Now she does not like you anymore. So don't take it for granted that this offering is going to be lifelong. It's not going to be lifelong. At least 4 months, you wait for the lay people to repeat the offering. Only then you can approach her, can approach him.
Most Venerable, there is a question from the participant, Timo. I'm sorry if I pronounced your names wrong. I have a question regarding Adhikarana Samatha.
Yes.
Especially by setting a fair with a majority vote, Yepuyasika. Could it be considered to be a little bit morally ambiguous and being possible to be influenced really? In my eyes, this would easily result in the situation of might make it right. If the majority is influenced the vote in a certain way, are there instructions how to exactly execute Yepuyasika type of dispute setting?
As soon as you're reading this to me, I recall Venerable Ajahn Brahmavamso. The case of Ajahn Brahmavamso when he gave ordination in the year 2009, when he gave ordination to the Bhikkhunis, and the Thai monks of the forest tradition, of Ajahn Chah's tradition, actually, excommunicate him. And this is also majority, done by majority. But it's very interesting, when Ajahn Brahmavamso himself told me that when they came out, they come and kind of hold his hand, say, it's okay, like that, as though what they have agreed upon to excommunicate him does not carry weight. And there is lots of misunderstanding in the world outside, thinking that the Thai Sangha excommunicated Ajahn Brahmavamso. I have to repeat, no. This is only in their group, only in their small group of the forest tradition. Yes, in this case, the one who raised question is correct. But remember that in the Buddha's time, this majority voice, it meant these voices were the voices of Arahat, of well practiced, if not Arahat, then very well practiced monks. So they must have certain moral standard, I trust. They must have moral standard to go by. If you go by majority, then we can trust them. But in reality, in these days, sometimes it does not work. So I do agree with the person who raised the question that unless we have chosen this community, this Sangha, who is well respected, well behaved, and well honored, the worthy ones, so to say, the majority voice of the worthy one, then we pay respect.
Thank you so much for your answer. Any more questions from the floor?
It is like keeping a dialogue, This is a floor that it is open for our sisters, our brothers to be able, and also the lay people. Remember that all the four Buddhist communities, we are the owner of Buddhism. It is not only for monks and bhikkhus and bhikkhunis who are the owner. That is not right understanding. The one who is the owner of Buddhism is the one who is working towards establishing the lineage of Buddhism into the future. So all of us are actually the owner of Buddhism. If suppose a monk is not behaving well, he is not a good monk, then he is not a monk. He is just someone who just come in to exploit Buddhism. So we have to see, we have to claim our ownership of keeping Buddhism intact, keeping the teaching of the Buddha intact.
Most Venerable, one more question from the floor from Niyanika, Bhikkhunis. Could you kindly discuss the scope and manner of decision making and application of decision according to Vinaya? In what further ways can we support each other in settling of disputes in our global context?
You know, I speak from my experience. Sometimes this voice of majority also does not work in our community. When our community do not have the knowledge about certain things in the same level, so sometimes their voice cannot be counted, and this is when, you know, in the Tripitaka, there also was a story of a good monk who was accused by the ill will monk. You know, we see the story in the Buddha's time, and this happened. So yes, we have to, again I go back to what I mentioned earlier, that we need to seek for Sangha that is worthy of respect, really worthy of respect, to make decision, to help us make decision. Sometimes when something happened, you know, we go search for teachers, go search for Bhikkhuni teachers, search for Bhikkhu teachers, and see different way of looking at things. But our mind must always have that consciousness that this is for the betterment of Buddhism. What we are doing, we aim for the betterment of Buddhism, you know, not to be on this side, not to be on this side. How can we solve the situation so that we can go forward smoothly together? Very important.
Okay, one more question. Yes, from Timo. Has the awareness of the laity of Vinaya rules been beneficial for the Sangha in sense as a guarantee to also ensure the proper conduct of both the monk and nuns? I have many times wondered how we, the laity, should, for example, act when we see someone breaking the rules.
Speak up. When you see someone breaking the rules, you should speak up. But speak up with kindness. Speak up with, you know, if your heart is full of kindness, you just don't go and say, oh, you do something wrong. This is wrong. You know, when you do like that, you know, the person who is doing wrong will feel insulted, and reaction will be the other way around. You know, always with metta, with kindness from our heart to talk about this issue. And sometimes we need to bring the issue to be known in the Sangha. Oh, very important. If someone is doing something wrong, very seriously wrong in the Sangha, you must inform the Sangha. Because if that person, this wrong is very serious, then you are equally have done wrong. If you have been, not telling the truth, you know this person is already parajika, has done something against parajika, and he himself has already been defeated. But the Sangha does not know. But you know, you are the one who know, and you are not saying anything to the Sangha. Then you are equally wrong. You see, the responsibility is also on our shoulder. So it is not that, oh, you are talking about somebody's mistake. No, if that mistake is serious, you need to bring it to the Sangha. Because why is that so? This person is already parajika. He is no more a monk. Nobody knew, only you. And then he kept on joining the Sangha, joining all the
Sankakama.
Sangha all the Sangha that is done with this particular monk in it, all those Sangha become invalid. So therefore, you have to be responsible to bring about the knowledge to the Sangha so that the Sangha can excommunicate him, can leave him outside. You know, I have a story. Venerable Sankarakshita. Venerable Sankarakshita is very renowned English scholar in India. He asked for ordination. He asked for Bhikkhu ordination, and he was ordained possibly by 4 monks. As at that time the Sangha number was very few. But later on he realized that one of the monks who gave him ordination actually had a family. So therefore Venerable Sankarakshita disrobed because his ordination was invalid, because it was done by this invalid Sankakama. So he disrobed and he wrote a book about it. So this is something that we need to be aware of our responsibility. In my country, you know, people tend to say, "Oh, don't talk about it. You know, you will go to hell if you talk about it like that." Like that attitude, you know, sometimes it is not beneficial for the growth of Buddhism. There is responsibility from our part as well.
It seems like our Patitesniya, Atikarana Samatha, and Sekhiya section has come to an end with such a fruitful discussion. And let me conclude this section. In a nutshell, Patitesniya deal with an offense which ought to be confessed. Both Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni have completely different set of rules. 4 rules for the Bhikkhus and 8 rules for Bhikkhunis. Dealing with 8 expensive or difficult to procure item. If a Bhikkhuni is not ill, she should not ask for ghee, oil, honey, sugar, fish, meat, milk, and curd. For Atikara Samatha, deals with deciding legal question. The 7 rules are shared by both Sangha. And it can be explained in a short like this: a face-to-face verdict, a verdict of mindfulness, a verdict of past insanity, acting in according with what is admitted, acting in according with maturity, acting for the accused, further punishment, and 7, covering with crisis. For Sekhiya, the 75 rules to be studied for mannerism for both Sangha and novices. 2 rules dealing with robe wearing, 24 rules dealing with entering a house, 30 rules dealing with accepting and taking food, 16 rules dealing with teaching Dhamma, and 3 miscellaneous rules. However, without sanction and punishment, Sekhiya is considered not serious by someone, but actually the rules were laid down to keep the faith of lay people. So it is very important because monastics rely on the faith of lay people. And to apply Sekhiya into contemporary world, the culture, time, and space should be taken into account because the context is totally different from that time, the Buddha's time. We are grateful to Most Venerable Dhammananda Mahā Therī for sharing her knowledge and experience in application of Vinaya in contemporary world. Also, all UTBSI coordinator, Most Venerable Tathaloka Mahā Therī from USA, Most Venerable Santini Mahā Therī from Indonesia, Most Venerable Vittidharma, Dr. Liu Phap from Vietnam, Venerable Potichitta Thérī from Australia, and Venerable Sumangala from Malaysia for their valuable suggestion. Special thanks go to Most Venerable Santini Mahā Therī and her teams, Venerable Bhikkayani and Venerable Sadhika for hosting the Zoom meeting and technical support on through the programs, and to Miss Bong, our examinaries, for all nice posters. Last but not least, I would like to thank all participants attending the Vinaya class. Without our contribution, the class would not make possible. Next upcoming program is Sanghamita Days, UTBSI second anniversary on 27th of November. May I request Venerable Sumangala to do cross chanting and bless our Vinaya class come to an end. Venerable, please.
This is very fortunate for us to have this session to learn from our senior Mahā Therī, Ven Dhammananda Mahā Therī, and also to our moderator, Ven Dhamma Paripurna, for kindly hosting and moderate this session, and to all participants who have come in to learn and to listen and discuss on this Dhamma Vinaya. May all these merit that you have accrued continue to pave way for you to have the strength to practice the Dhamma Vinaya well, whether for the monastic or for the lay people. And this is the teacher that the Buddha has passed down to us, so that we'll be able to embrace the path to liberation more smoothly and more disciplined, so that the path will be expedited for the realization of Nibbana. So with this merit accrued, we like to share this merit with the Devas too, and also for the blessings of everyone. Bhāru Sabba Mangalam Rakantu Sabba Devata Sabba Buddhana Bhavena Saraswati Bhavantu Te. Bhāru Sabba Mangalam Rakantu Sabba Devata Sabba Dhammana Bhavena Saraswati Bhavantu Te. Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam Rakantu Sabba Devata Sabba Sanghanubhavena Saraswati Bhavantu Te.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sakyonta Nibbana Pachaya. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Venerable.